excuses. You are the person that originally came up, or how did No Excuses come to fruition? Like, where did you get the idea originally to put this together?
I went to a breakdancing and street dancing competition about 4 years ago. I'd been going to them for a couple of years, and I never really used to enjoy myself at them, but I'd go because friends that I appreciated and respected as dancers went, and sometimes that would be the only chance to see those dancers, because they didn't circulate the rave scene and the festival scene, and they lived far away. So, they were competitive dancers, that's where they would go and meet up. So I went to one in particular because it was close by, and I decided to bring with me a 10 strip of acid, and I decided to eat that acid at the jam, and
oh boy.
I began analyzing everything around me and seeing I wasn't the only person who didn't like these. I just didn't come, because if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it. Actually, if I don't love something, it's really hard to get me to do it. So I then spent the rest of the weekend just analyzing everything and talking to everybody and getting essentially a list of gripes and complaints that people were like, if I did this is how it would be. And about coincidentally enough, that year, one of my largest mentors in dance, I ran into him at a festival, and he was telling me this new idea that he had for a dance competition, where the dancers get to pick their track for the preliminaries, and and he was telling me what he thought about that, and then we just instantly started spitballing back and forth to each other about how the things that were lacking in that world. So those two things combined.
That world being like the dance scenes you were already been
not the dance scenes, the competitive dance world.
Oh.
The competitive dance scene. So
what didn't you like specifically about the competitive dancing as you...
well...
Is it too structured?
It celebrates the individual only if you're in the top 2%, so it celebrates pretty much the last 4 people in the competition, essentially, where ours is kind of like a pyramid, where if you have the top 4 people and then you have the 16 or the whoever the preliminaries are, and it comes up like this,
Yeah.
So that in the middle is that gray area, but the start and the beginning is where we put the most emphasis on the competition.
Where everyone
we have the most time goes into the beginning, the preliminaries, and the most time goes into the top 4, people.
Preliminaries being where everyone can just go up, sign up, and then once their name pops up, they can just go out and do whatever they want on the dance floor, right?
Yeah, they can go out there, they can dance whatever style they want to whatever song they've picked. We usually give people a minute. I think we're changing the format to 45 seconds, just to help with some time constraints, because the thing is growing now. So, as where before we had 30 people entering, now we're getting upwards on consistence to 45 to 60 people, depending on the event. So we are probably going to tone that down. But it was the combination of those 2 things, really. But I was really heavily entrenched in the liquid community at the time. So I was actually putting together my own event, which was the 2010 Chicago Liquid Conference.
1 minute. Can you please, just briefly, however you want, what would liquid dancing be again?
Liquid dancing?
Yeah.
Well, liquid dancing is an illusion-based style of dance that revolves around the concept of flow, mastering flow, using flow, and it's basically a dance that presents things that are not there. It makes the abstract tangible, and it uses a lot of mathematics, geometry, sacred geometry. It's what I like to call the thinking man's dance. It goes very, very in depth into just presenting a beautiful, mind-melting illusion, essentially.
Well, for the sake of, the ones of us that have maybe never been on a dance floor, maybe the last time we danced was a 6th grade line dance, could you give an example of something like is robot dancing liquid dancing or
no? Robot dancing falls under the canopy of animation.
Yeah.
And it's also an illusion style of dance. It's illusionary, so it makes something look like something that it's not. Right. So the gentleman that I did the exhibition battle with, he's a roboter. He's an animator in general.
Chibi, I've actually seen him before. When I realized, I used to watch their videos last year when I was fantasizing, what if I could do that? That looks really cool, But I digress. This is about. Oh God.
It's okay.
I just tune in and tune out sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay.
But
it's a
robot dancing.
Natural flow. It's a conversation.
Of course. And I don't remember exactly where you were, but it had something to do with Chibi.
Yeah. So he's an animator. He's an animator, and so roboting falls underneath the umbrella of animation. Animation is strobing, claymation, roboting, ticking, all sorts of really weird floats and glides, things that just make the human body look like. What Liquid has been successfully doing definitely the past 5 years, but has been struggling to do since its inception, is branch away from that and be considered its own dance, with its own culture, with its own concepts, with its own history, its own origins. And everybody keeps trying to put Liquid back under that umbrella of animation styles of dance. And I'm just one of many who actively try to educate others that it is something that is its own entity, and that is pretty fucking awesome without those other dances. I've met people who have never done those other dances, and they've only done Liquid, and they're amazing. Just like if you meet somebody who does those other dances and then picks up Liquid, they would be amazing. They're not mutually exclusive, but they are easily inclusive.
So you said Liquid dancing recently hit, or over the last, however.
We're in a resurgence right now.
A resurgence?
It started big in the mid-90s and kind of tapered off when the founding fathers had a very large disagreement and ended up going different ways. And then it was gone for a while until roughly about 6 years ago, a young man started up a online group called Floasis.
You by chance know his name off the top?
Matt Graham.
Matt Graham?
Yeah. That's the name on the back of my t-shirt.
I didn't notice. Give me one moment. What do I call this? I'll just call it the underground dancing. So, you just gave me another idea. No Excuses Atlanta originally I was going to do a review. I thought maybe I'll just use that as an introduction to the whole idea based on how you feel it is. And I'm going to get into anyway. Now, No X to Atlanta, it's No X concept of it itself, and I guess the next one, when is the next one?
Lawrence Calvert, also known as Anansi, he was in the van with us.
God.
Yeah, He wants me to come do one in the spring in Kalamazoo. So that'll probably be the next one. The next one in Chicago will probably be in the fall.
The
next
fall?
Yeah.
So Kalamazoo, where's Kalamazoo?
It's in Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not much of a trek. So whatever the next one it is, Alright, so do you find it easy to talk about yourself? Can I ask you, like, your name is Tom, as far as I know, Plainwhite Tom. What originally got you interested in, like, can you pinpoint a time in your life where you looked at and you decided, I want to express myself through this way in dance?
I had always been a dancer ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah?
I'm just always, I tend to be in a state of perpetual motion, especially once I get going. Learning how to calm down as I get older, but for the most part, I have a lot of energy and I go.
I notice, Mr. Charisma.
I was getting into trouble when I was younger, and my mother had already enrolled my sister into dance classes, so she couldn't trust me to be home alone by myself, so I was getting into too much trouble. So she started making me go there, and the dance instructor saw me running around, and boys in dance classes is a rarity, especially young boys.
Yeah.
So they kind of started
Got a little flack from it?
pressing my mom to sign me up. And so I did, and I instantly started having a really good time with it. It was very enjoyable. I was already getting flack for a lot of things in life, so it wasn't until I started to get into puberty when I was in middle school that I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I don't really enjoy the flack anymore because it was getting to be like a lot, and I quit. What put me on the path to be the dancer that I am today, though, was my first underground rave that I went to, and the first time that I ever did ecstasy.
I'm guessing you were pretty happy that day.
Yeah, I was, and I haven't stopped dancing since. I found the cure to my sadness. I found the cure to my pain. I found the thing that made everything else make sense and helped me transform all the anger and frustration and...
You found a conduit to take all these negative emotions and transform them into positive...
And oddly enough, liquid was the first dance style that I started that with, and then I fell out of that for some years, and I took up popping and locking and a lot of different other styles, and now within the past 5 years, I've found myself back to liquid.
And just for the sake of nostalgia and maybe a giggle or two, do you remember when you were a kid, when you first started dancing, what was the first dance you learned? Was it like the Macarena, or do you remember?
Jazz.
The jazz?
I learned jazz, the contemporary style of jazz.
Contemporary jazz? Like not jazz tap. I've heard of jazz tap.
Well, there's jazz and then there's tap. I learned jazz, and then I learned tap, and then I learned ballet. In that order.
I didn't even know there was jazz dance classes for small children.
Yes.
I always thought there was just ballet and gymnastics and dancing. They were both in tights, so I just pretty much put them together when I was a kid.
There's a lot of different styles out there.
Oh yeah. So, do you by chance remember what you were talking about right before I asked you what your first dance was?
No.
All right. But it was about you. Give me a second to backtrack.
You did.
I tend to get lost sometimes in a matter of speaking.
Keep saying that, and you're always going to.
At least, maybe I can. And I like you, man. All right. Anyway, you know what, Landon? The original dance class. Alright, I noticed at the end of the dance competition when you faced off against Chibi and proceeded to blow everyone's minds with some of the best dancing I've ever seen personally. Not that I've seen a lot, but after that, the girl named Trish came up and she did Fire Boy. As no excuses as you wanted to be, did you ever do you have like a set definition of what you want it to always be, or are you open to the...
No, I have a blueprint and a format, and any city that I go into, I tell them, because now I did it for 2 years in Chicago. I did 4 of them in 2 years in Chicago, and did really good with them, and proved that the formula worked. And so then I started to take the formula to other places, and yeah, there's just a couple guidelines that say I'd like to bring this event to you. I'd like to help your scene. I'd like to show you guys maybe a different path or something to work with. And if you want me to do that, these are the things that if I'm coming, I'm bringing with me.
All right. That was an excellent thought. But she was allowed to go out there, like she felt like spinning poi. Did you ever consider, is it always going to be purely dance, or are you going to be little things possibly here and there where you'd see people spinning poi for the entertainment of other people, or maybe
I started the first No Excuses. I had 2 hoop performers, so people who...
I've never seen a hoop performer.
Yeah, people who dance with hula hoops. I had them as performers. The second No Excuses, we had... Who do we have? That performer. I'm drawing a blank on that one.
I draw blanks all the time. It's not a big deal.
Do not, especially about things like this. The third one, though, we had a really awesome juggler and then a poi performer. So what I'm attempting to do there is to blend the object manipulation community, which has a lot of really great ideas that if dancers hung around them more, it would help dancers out. And if object manipulators hung around dancers more, they would learn how to dance better.
So a symbiotic sort of...
Yeah, they're both missing pieces from each other, essentially. So, I'm just hoping that naturally through this event growing and gaining momentum, that will start to happen.
So did you ever consider other forms of artistic expression, such as hip hop, freestyle rapping, those sort of things, verbal dancing, if you want to look at it that way?
Yeah, that's definitely somewhere where I'm interested in taking it in the years to come, and I have other ideas for events and things like that.
Did you by chance ever put an idea into how would you blend it, something like, let's say there's dance competition, and let's say there's also a lot of freestyle, lack of a better word, rappers there, how would you... what would the center point of something like that be if you had...
Well, the center point of the event is always going to be around the dance competition, because that's what the No Excuses dance...
Everything else sort of accents it?
Yeah, everything is an additive. The one in Chicago, the difference between the one in Chicago and the one in Atlanta, you run into one in Chicago, is that there were live painters everywhere.
I was going to go, but I chickened out.
Yeah, there's live painters all over the room.
Yeah.
And so there's live painting. We had a juice bar. We had a full bar as well. We had food. We had local vendors, so people that could sell crafts and goods and things like that. We had somebody who opened up the night with yoga and meditation. So just making it as conscious and as community oriented as possible.
So as many toppings on top of the original idea that's the cake of
Sure, that's
interpretive dance.
That's a good analogy.
Tasty one too.
More so, what I'm trying to do is take a formula that is stagnant, which street dance is. The competitive dancing is very stagnant. They've been doing the same thing for 30 plus years, and it's great and it's really fun to watch because the caliber of the dancing gets better and better in that world. But unfortunately, I don't feel that it's always doing as much for society, and if we go smaller, community as you could.
Just reminded me, No Excuses. How do you feel? I know you want to. You're doing it as people come in, have a lot of fun, but I'm pretty sure you put thought into how this will positively affect a community or other people. How do you feel No Excuses will improve the lives of people involved in it or just around it?
It'll them for the better. Excuse me. Yeah, it will hopefully give them hope, exposure. That's a big thing. My event it's.
And I'm one of those witnesses, and it did work. You had that effect, so. I mean, No Excuses itself, it pulled something out of me, and it made me put thought to something, so I thought, why not try to come back and pull something out of that, and try to take that and distribute it in a way where I feel I will, equal exchange. Like, two people, you help me, I help you. You don't need a reason, I don't have to help you just because you helped me, but you didn't need a reason to help me in the first place, so...
Well... The way that the system is set up is I'm actually not helping anyone, you're helping yourself. Like, you're the one setting aside 3 days of your life to come on a road trip with a bunch of people and pay the entry fee and, you know what I'm saying, support the event.
I know.
So that's like, I'm not helping anybody, I'm just doing the thing that I want to do most in the world. And that's one of the things that I want to do most, is change the world through dance.
You're creating an environment where people help themselves just by being...
Sure. Yeah. And if they don't know how to help themselves, maybe they come to that environment and they see somebody painting, hear somebody doing poetry, see people dancing, see people that are saying, hey, this workshop is next week, they get inspired in that way, or they meet somebody that's doing handcrafted goods, or they go talk to a DJ, or they see the screen printing studio, like this. I just want to create an environment that has innumerable outlets for expression, and your spirit will tell you which one is the most for you, and then you go in that direction. And if you're lost or confused, I just spin you in a circle, like go in that direction. If you don't like it, come back, and then go in that direction. If you don't like it, come back, go in that direction,
Branch out?
Yeah.
Branch out. That reminded me, I need to stay grounded in what I'm thinking about. Like, digression is also a natural form of progression, but for the sake of this right here, it would be counterproductive if we went off into a tangent. I need to stay grounded in this. And I came back to this, and, alright. Food for thought. By the way, thank you for having me entertaining my little projects that I felt like doing.
Sure.
And I wouldn't decide I wanted to do this project if I didn't go out there and I didn't experience exactly what you said.
Sure.
Put myself like, you're talking to someone, or for years of my personal life, I would literally not talk to anyone or communicate with anyone.
That's impossible.
Or
you communicated with yourself for a very long time.
I use that time to, at least attempt to get to know myself, put forth thought into, like, wait a minute, now that I stop and think about it, why? How? And just go from there, but...
Why not?
Why and why not? Those are my two favorite questions. Two of the best questions you can ask.
Well, the best answer to why is why not. When somebody goes, why? You just go, why not? Let's move on.
And why not? Why? No, let's not get into that. Alright. So we talked about No Excuses Atlanta. We talked about what you're trying to do. What else could possibly be in it? How much work does it actually... let me rephrase this. How much work, actual work, does it take you and whoever else helps you organize this to actually create? Like, how much time did you put into each event before it actually happened?
Well, the one that I did in Atlanta, it was just a lot of, internet time, talking with the promoter, working with Jenna, talking with Chibi, talking with the judges. There's just a lot of internet time there, and to me, that's why that event wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
It was amazing.
Because, I'm glad you thought so. I was not happy with it at all. Like, I was happy.
We're always our biggest critics, right?
No, I'm not. Like, the last one I had in Chicago, I was ecstatic. It was perfect. It was everything I wanted it to be. It ran a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. It's just that the person I was working with wasn't a very good partner. She didn't understand. She wasn't listening to the things that I was saying. We needed at that event for it to be the conscious changing thing that it could have been for her scene. Like, her scene isn't going to change that much because of that event, because all the shit wasn't there. The meditation wasn't there. The yoga wasn't there. The people painting.
Yeah, I remember hearing about something
there.
about a yoga class.
The juice bar wasn't there. Like, all of those things that, like, just
There was water and pizza.
There's shitty pizza and there was water, and that wouldn't have been there if I didn't fucking leave in the middle of everything and go get it. You know, like, so to me, it was a good event because Tommy got exposure, and we got to introduce the world to Tommy, and because me and Chibi did our thing, Tommy Von Flowington, he was one of the judges, he was in the van with us.
Yeah, he's one of the people I want to talk to. I get the idea that, alright, I knew, even though I was never a dancer, you know, I knew who Chibi was, and I knew I recognized him, and I'd seen him before. Who is Tommy Von Flowington?
Tommy Von Flowington.
Is he like
the people's champ? He is arguably, in my opinion, the greatest liquid dancer in the world. Contestedly, he's the undisputed truth. He's won the last two national competitions for liquid.
Really?
Pretty decisively, too, in a lot of people's opinions.
See, I had no idea I was sitting behind this person this entire time.
A lot of people don't, because a lot of people don't understand the liquid scene, because the liquid scene is a very, very, very small thing.
I didn't even know what liquid was.
There's 5 billion people in the world and growing, and there's maybe 200 max that actually do liquid. 75 of them that do it seriously, 30 of them that do it as seriously as Tommy and myself do it, you know?
I thought it was big. One of my friends that lives in Joliet, she does liquid dancing. I saw
that would be one of the 200 that I'm talking about, you know? Like, it's not a very big dance yet. It's catching on.
Obviously.
Things are starting to pick up. It's really nice to see, but
well, you introduced the idea, and the idea is sort of expanding on its own through other people.
Oh yeah,
right?
It spreads. I mean, we're all collective consciousness, so that's bound to happen.
We don't always agree with ourselves. We tend to find
definitely not. That's how we learn and grow.
Oh yeah, we got a long ways to go on that too. I'm just happy for. I almost brought my roommate's old school cassette recorder.
Okay.
Before I did that, before he came up here, I stopped and I was like, you know, knowing me and not knowing this dude as much as I possibly could, this could be really convoluted, and I'm going to go get something that I can just stick on the computer and edit at will. I'm so glad I did that right now.
Chop stuff up.
I mean, as romantic as old school cassette, things are, I mean, these are just a little more practical.
Totally more practical.
A little more useful too, or you can do a lot more with them. Alright. Work put into it.
So the work put into it for a regular No Excuses, I book them 6 months in advance. So when spring comes around, I'm going to tell everybody this is the date for the event. First, once I can talk to my community and say, does this date work? Everybody goes, that date works. One more? Want to grab my cup?
Oh, I'm good for now. It just got a lot colder a lot quicker than I thought it would.
So once I go to the community, I say, does this date work? They say yes, then I lock the date in, and then I begin to choose my venue. Once I choose my venue, and I know what my venue fees are, my venue costs are going to be, then that starts to open up my budget, and lets me know how much I'm going to start spending. Once I know how much I'm going to start spending, then I start to look at the judges. The judges are arguably the most important thing about your jam, because if you pick a shitty panel of judges, nobody wants to come. If you pick a biased panel of judges, nobody wants to come. You have to get a really good balance, especially because it's an all-styles battle of all the various styles of dance that are out there.
Literally all styles.
Yeah, so
if someone wanted to get up there and do like clog dancing, they could
get up and do clog dancing. The one guy was up there and he was doing tutting with a contact juggling.
Tutting. Just for the. Oh yeah, that. I should know that.
So yeah, it's once I have the judges, then what I usually try to do is I try to pick someone who's never judged before, or maybe only judged a few times, and definitely has done smaller things. Then I try to get somebody in the middle, and then I try to get someone who's like a veteran. It's like really big.
Yeah.
So then once I have that, then I focus on the charity battle or the exhibition battle that I want to do, and who I want to bring into that. And then I start seeing what people are out there that have causes that they want to raise money for. After that, then I start looking into performers. How do I want to make the performances? What do I want? What do I want people to see? Do I want a poet? Do I want a lyricist? Do I want a fire performer? Do I want how do I want? I usually have 2 slots.
Still talking about the judges, correct?
No.
Oh.
The judges are the 3.
Yeah.
Once I have the judges, then I move on to doing the exhibition battle. Figure out who's going to take part in that.
Yeah.
What the charity is going to be. Then after I go to that, then I go to the performers and things like that, and I figure out who that is.
Yeah.
Talk with all those people. Then once I have that, that's pretty much the core cast of characters that are going to be there. Once I have that, then I put together groups, and I put together private message panels with all those people, so we can brainstorm, talk about what do they need, what do I need, what do I expect, what do they expect, and start to like marginalize all those expectations and get everybody's intentions to the surface. Once you have everybody's intentions, then you can understand if your event is going to work or not. Then from there, that's when I start.
How well it'll work. Or?
I mean, you never know how well it's going to work until.
Like Atlanta, you went 3 days down there, and in your opinion, you weren't very happy with the event, right?
I was happy with the fact that we raised enough money to pay the winner, I raised enough money to pay the judges, I raised enough money to pay the venue, What I wasn't happy with was that the more conscious aspects that I am trying to bring to these events, that woman subconsciously sabotaged by just being lazy,
That woman? Are you talking about?
The promoter that I was working with, her name was Kiana. The one who was mad that you guys tried to charge her for pizza. So
No one got mad at me when I was mad.
They got mad at Alan.
Why? It was $1. It's $1. Anyway, I'm glad I held on to this thought. Depending, that's a little too specific. You're the promoter. What do you look for in a judge? Someone who obviously knows how to dance well. Someone who's not biased. Is there anything else?
I go into my community and I ask people who they want as judges. I want the dancers that come to the event to be happy. So a lot of times, man, the judges that I pick are not the judges that I want, I just try to make sure that once they do come into my system, that I minimize any chance or opportunity for them to be biased or spread their politics into the competition.
All right.
But I for the most part, man, I try to look into my community and I try to ask like the dancers that support my event, who have helped me build it from nothing to what it is, and say, what do you want to see? I usually at least get one of them is like, that's mine. That's the person that I want there.
Was that Tommy for you?
For that one down there was Tommy. For the one that I brought last time, it was Icon. He's a tutter from Portland, Oregon.
He came a long way.
He did. It's an expensive plane ticket.
Yeah, I know. Jesus, even one way is like $600. At least mine was. The judges, the events. Do you have any sort of like, you said something about no excuses in April in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Are there any particular themes or ideas?
I guess we're raising money for veterans and specifically for suicide awareness, because I think it's something like 48% of suicides in this country, 33% of suicides in this country are by veterans.
Post-traumatic stress.
That has something to do with it, yeah. Other things. I mean, some people are just wired to blow, man.
Yeah.
Whether they went in the military or not,
That's definitely a depressing thought. Anyway.
I think liberation is a beautiful thing.
Oh, this is true. It'd be nice if there was nothing that needed to be liberated from in the first place, but...
That sounds like an idealism that I'm not comfortable touching.
Let's not touch it.
Yeah. There is all of that, and then there is, once you have the venue, then building the event and time, like mapping out the event, how everything goes from the time that the doors open until the doors close. And then I usually try to host and throw some sort of after party so that people don't have to leave, so that they can, if they want to get a couple cocktails and hang out and dance, they can do that.
Unwind.
Unwind and not feel pushed out of the space and just have a good time. So fortunately for me, this past one in Chicago, I decided to start working with Jenna, which Jenna and I have been friends for about 4 years, and she's attended a lot of things that I do, but I'm a very controlling person because I have a very specific vision, and I find most of the time when I give people tasks or things to do, they just fuck them up, because I mean, they do them the best that they can do, but they don't know.
They don't do it up into how you.
They just don't have the work ethic, man. You know, they don't. Most people do not have a strong work ethic. I find most people want to half-ass things. They want to get done early so that they can go fucking play and do whatever they want. Which is why it's easy for me to do it, because to me it is play. Like when I'm building this thing, I'm playing and I'm having a really good time.
Yeah.
So Jenna is really the first person that I have worked with
that really wants this,
yeah. She has a very strong work ethic, and she went to college for it, and she has seen it grow from the beginning to the start, and she has a strong enough personality to not get run over by me, because a lot of people, I just end up accidentally running them over. I don't even need to. It's just like I have a vision and I'm going, and then the next thing I know, you have tire marks on you. And Jenna is.
You have a very strong presence. I will tell you that.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
It's not a negative feeling one.
It is when it's directed towards you negatively.
Seeing you now, I would probably not want to be on the receiving end of that.
I had a very good friend of mine once.
I was actually.
No, you weren't.
Well, slightly. I got a little taste when my voice kept carrying. You remember?
Yeah.
And then you kept telling me to and you were on the other side of the room. Yeah. You did like 4 or 5 times.
It was about the 5th.
And then you sort of blew up and said fuck up sort of, and then 2 seconds. I'm sorry, I thought this was really like 3 seconds later, you knock into something, knock it over, and you go,
all the silverware spilt everywhere.
And you smiled.
It's like, of course.
That was a good moment. That was just perfect.
Yeah, it wasn't just you. There was 3 other people there, and I was just like trying to be like, shut the fuck up. We're gonna get in trouble. Like, these people are letting us stay here for $10 a person. You know, like, this is a dream situation. No, if we would have had to get a hotel, man, it would have been an additional $60 per person, you know?
I imagine if you sort of lost a little bit of money in that scenario as it worked out, if a motel was involved, you probably had pretty empty pockets.
I mean, I usually tend to always have empty pockets because of who I am and the amount of friends I try to keep and the amount of people that I try to help.
Oh, my foot. I'm just kidding.
So, yeah, it's interesting, but the event itself definitely does take like a lot of planning, and it takes a lot of energy to put on, but fortunately I've been able to build a pretty good team around me. So Jenna is like now has become like my right hand.
You're like tutoring, right? Sort of like
I'm trying. In a way, her and I actually had our first conflict ever working together, and she got really upset. Of course, she got upset after she got drunk and things like that, and she started just like
the whiskey.
Yeah, and started just kind of like saying that she didn't appreciate the way I was talking to her and things like that. And I was trying to explain. She's like, it just seems like you're really frustrated and you're taking it out on me. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trying to take it out on you, but I'm juggling a lot right now.
You seem like a person when you're frustrated, like you're under a lot of stress at times that day.
Yeah.
You're just moving around, and you're
fast.
like,
I just go.
I just feel like I can
don't
tell.
take it personally. Just like don't take it personally. I love you, and that's what I told her. I'm like, okay, just because I said something, it's because the tone of my voice wasn't the way you would hope that it would have been in that moment. Why don't you look at the fact that I haven't asked you for a single dime for anything? You know, I've been taking care of you. I'm going to continue to take care of you. The problem with strong people and strong-willed people is they don't ever want to be micromanaged. They don't ever want to work under somebody. But fucking too bad, because I have 15 years of contacts. I've been working a specific path for like how long? And you want instant access into that path. Well, I'm sorry. Life has showed me that when I do that, people then take fucking advantage of me, take the best parts of me, and then they just leave. So you're gonna have to be my bitch for a little while. But just know that I'm a really good boss. Like, I'm a really good boss. Jenna didn't pay for any of her food that weekend. Did she? I don't think she, unless she did, or on her own.
I think she did, like maybe once or twice.
I bought all of her groceries when we were at the store, and I tried to buy her other things. So she didn't pay for any of her gas. She didn't pay for the van at all. Like, I took care of all of those things for her, you know. And I think maybe she gave me $10 for staying there. I can't remember. Overall, she didn't pay for anything.
Yeah.
As best as possible. And it's like, on top of that, you know, I took her out for dinner afterwards to decompress. And there's other things, you know, at the start of a business relationship, you know, things are going to be small, they're going to grow bigger, you know. So it's like, I've been surrounding myself around good people for a while, and I try to take care of them the best that I can, because in those moments of high stress, when I have 20 things coming at me, the last thing I need is one of the people who's supposed to be aiding me or helping me coming at me with
static.
Yeah, just save it for when we're done, and when we can address those points and those topics then.
And her whole little thing was she didn't appreciate the way you were treating her, but you never intended to, like...
Yeah, it's not like that's what was my intent.
You never intended to treat anyone badly,
right?
I
think what I was trying to explain to her is, I need you to really, like, remove yourself from the situation, and what I need you to do is look at what I'm dealing with right now. Like,
go to the third-person view or something?
Yeah, it's like, the woman booked a venue 45 minutes away from where we're supposed to be. There's no vending here. There's no nothing here. We couldn't even get into the venue to set it up, you know, beforehand. Like, I'm having to do all of the stuff without all the normal assistance that I would have if I was in Chicago, and it was just like, and she just wanted to have a good time, you know, and then she couldn't because she had to do work, because the promoter who we went there to go work with didn't have people in place for us to be able to just...
I tried to fill in a few gaps when I was there myself.
You did. If it wasn't for you, she would have had zero fun, you know? Which, because you stepped up, she was able to have a little bit of fun. Same thing with Alan. Alan stepped up so that you could have fun, you know? Like... Oh, yeah. Like, everybody kind of like did that thing when they traded.
Your whole chibi, your whole dance style of chibi. If you didn't... Alan said, just go with it. No one wants pizza right now.
No one's on my answer.
Right. There, I'm glad I wrote that down. Where was the event exactly at? Like,
I have no fucking idea.
Do you have no idea what that building was?
No.
Do you know who?
I think I do somewhere, but at this point in time, I don't know.
Not important.
Can we continue this interview on the road?
Sure.
Cool. Jeff is, you can let that run. I'll carry it if you want to talk into it.
Oh, God. That got cold quick. Like here, you usually bring up the cups. Do they not bring up the cup? I think I like this. It said a 1,142 minutes, so I can leave this running as long as I want. So I'll go into it later, and I'll be like, oh, this is when we were going on the road. I'll just like, boom, boom, chop that out. You know, if I want to keep a digital record of this, I mean, I have no idea what it is I'm going to end up producing is going to be yet, but I'm having fun doing it.
Have you seen the movie yet?
I don't like superhero movies very much, because Spider-Man, have you seen Spider-Man 3?
Yeah, that movie sucked.
That's the only movie I ever walked out of in my entire life. As soon as
there are parts of it I liked, but... Oh, you're talking about he's doing the jazz scene down the street?
Yeah, with his fucking hair combed over and the...
That was awful.
That's when I walked out. I was like, what is this? I'm gone.
He was bored. The director was bored.
The director was bored. He didn't really put thought into it. Sorry.
Jeff is gonna be like $5 down the street.
Sure. I'm gonna go on autopilot, so to say. I mean, if you can hold it, that'd be great.
Gotcha.
So, now that I have to pay attention to the road, so if you want to say anything you want about No Excuses, or who you are, or the people you like, what you decide good people are, etc., 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 anything that comes to mind.
Basically, just want me to... You're going to want to turn the wheel that way.
Oh, yeah. Parallel parking. Now I have to parallel unpark.
It should be fine. Yeah, I'm going to cut back a little bit.
Parallel unparking. And the people that end up in front of you and behind you actually make the unparking more difficult where the parking was. Awesome.
Yeah, that's just true. Yeah, I'd like.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you stay to the left. You're gonna go up a couple blocks here. The thing that I like about this event is I get to.
Do you smoke?
No, I do not.
Do you mind if I smoke?
It's your vehicle and your lungs.
And you're right next to me. Would you prefer not to?
Doesn't bother me, man.
All right.
I'm not one of those people. I like that. I live in a lot of different worlds. I travel through a lot of different scenes. I associate with a lot of different types of people.
Exotic.
I'm enjoying cultivating an experience that allows me to bring all of those people together in one big giant fashion. And I really enjoy the fact that I've figured out a system and a method that not only the event pays for itself, essentially, but like a lot of really good work gets done as well. Like I raised nearly 125 pounds of canned goods and foods for your driving in the middle of the street.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I'm a tourist.
We raised like about 125 pounds of food, like canned goods and non-perishables and things like that.
Yep.
For Garfield Park. Combined, we raised $900 for various charities, $600 for cystic fibrosis, $300 for this charity that Chibi, you're in the middle of the street again, is for scoliosis.
Put the lines a little bit better.
Yep. So it's good. It makes me feel good that I can give back to my community around me, and especially the neighborhood that I live in is going through some rapid growth and some change. So it's nice to know that I get to be like a catalytic force in that growth and development.
Would you consider an up and coming neighborhood, or?
Yeah, it's definitely up and coming. There's a lot of money being directed that way. A lot of artists are taking up, their brushes and their shoes.
So it's slowly growing into a cultural hotspot.
It will be over the next 10 years. So, and then I really enjoy, my biggest thing is I enjoy being able to give Liquid a safe place in the street dance community and allow it to be fairly judged, because when I pick my one judge, I always make sure that they are either sympathetic towards our dance, or at the very least know and accept that it is its own separate identity. And if I had to say my one selfish intention for throwing these events, it would be that.
How is that a selfish intention?
Well,
do you feel like self-analyzing just a little bit?
It's selfish because it's the thing that I want most. So, it's the thing that I don't consult my group of peers about before doing.
All right.
I don't talk to, because I have like 10 dancers at this point that have helped me build this event.
So the people that are helping you build this event, this one selfish thing is something they have zero input
They have
on.
No fucking input on it whatsoever.
It's what you want.
It's what I want. Yep. And then the other two judges, I'm like, let's have at it, guys, and let's figure it out, And then I'll do a process of elimination from what they give me as information. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I've been learning, I used to be a very selfless person, and I'm having to teach myself systematically how to become more selfish so that I can stay sane, because I was being selfless and then getting taken advantage of and then getting hurt and then resenting people, and then are you really selfless then if you're resenting everything that you're doing? And the answer is always no. So learning how to balance that and learning how to be a bit more selfish is helping with the whole thing.
By being selfish, you're creating something that inherently is completely, completely something that gives to everyone else. By being selfish, you are creating something that's giving to the community and creating positive growth in the people involved in it and around in it. So how is it selfish at all?
By being selfish with the choice of picking the one dancer that I want over anybody, like right here.
So just a little thing. Right?
Yeah, that's my own thing. So that's selfish. The event, right here.
All right.
The event itself is very selfless. I mean, so far, okay. So the first one, and then right here.
Right here?
Yep.
Walgreens?
CVS. He's gonna get off on the blue line here and come up to the car.
Good leg.
The first one, if you want to park, up over in there.
Right
up over in there. Yep. So in front, so he sees us, like around, there's spots over there, there's spots around over there.
Just alright, I'm gonna take this spot.
Okay.
This is my spot.
So the first one that I did, I lost $750 on.
Was it worth it?
Well, first and foremost, I don't really ever believe you can lose money. I think, like, it just turns into different things.
Yeah.
You know, even if, like, you have a hole in your pocket and you lose, like the money that I thought was misplaced today, right? Like, if the money wasn't here, then after I realized, Tom, that money is not here anymore, it does not belong to you, I wouldn't really deep down inside feel that I lost that money. I'd be like, oh, somebody gained X amount of dollars. I hope they needed them more than I need them in this very moment, you know, or in the moments to come until I get paid on Friday.
You know, there's always a chance that they could take it and blow it all on crack cocaine, but at least there's the chance that
I hope they needed that crack cocaine in that moment, because that crack cocaine might be the thing that one hit of crack cocaine might be the thing that perpetuated them to go into rehab, and they've been a junkie for 10 years, you know. So, like, I'm just saying, there's an old proverb, an old Taoist proverb. They talk about this old sage who is in a village, and there's this young man who received this huge inheritance, and everybody's like, oh my god, you got all this money, you're gonna be set for life, you're gonna be great. Everybody was like,
Buddha?
No, we're not talking about the Buddha, but it's probably a story that Siddhartha used to tell. It's a story that sages have passed down over time, but the sage just keeps saying throughout the story, we'll see. So, and then he has basically the guy has a good turn of fortune, he gets a bunch of money, then he has something bad happen. And everybody's like, oh my god, it's the worst thing ever. But consistently throughout the whole story, the wise man says, we'll see. We'll see. So me losing the money is like, I lost the money. Is that good or bad? I don't know.
What is good?
We'll see. Well, it's a personal, that's a personal, I don't know, subjective definition. So I lost $750 on the first one. The second one, I lost about $300.
Yeah.
And the third one was the first time that I profited. I think, roughly about 160 when everything was said and done. And then because of that, now that I knew that I had the formula right and that things were working, that's when I was like, now I can start doing things for charities and stuff like that. So,
speaking of charities, what was the charity? The charity in Atlanta, it was something for scoliosis,
this
right?
was something for scoliosis.
What's the name of the charity?
I'm still working that out with Chibi. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's like been very difficult to work with on that. So I might just end up doing some research and just picking one myself.
Yeah.
And then just being like, this is the one that I donated to, since you can't take this seriously. So, yeah, it was for scoliosis, because that's the defect that he has.
I'm not going to ask you anything about it, because I can just go on Wikipedia later and figure that out, if I need to. Quick question, alright, what are we here for?
Jeff. Falco, yeah.
Oh, Falco.
And then me and Falco are going to go see the new Thor.
Alright.
Yeah.
It looks okay, I guess. Since superhero movies.
I like the first Thor movie was awesome. It was really good. I like Greek mythology a lot, so they use a lot of mythos.
The Odyssey, things like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, not just that, but just like the archetypal structure of the demigods, the gods, and how they pertain to what's going on in our world today, because those concepts and structures are very much still around us and actually dictate a lot of what's happening. And it's just interesting to watch and analyze and see. And my friend Jeff he's been going through a lot, and I know that he would really enjoy an experience like that. And getting out of the house is good too, you know. So
it is. I mean,
good.
This little exchange was also an excuse for me to get out of the house.
Sure.
You know, there he is.
So.
Hi,
hey,
Jeff.
what's up, dude? Yes,
How are you?
So the
Professional out tonight.
Professional?
Yeah, he said with the glasses, you look like Leon the Professional.
I've heard that like 10 times. If I get that little freaking beanie and get a black pair.
And you start having an underage girl follow you around.
Yeah, please no.
Oh, please,
I'm in love
yes.
with you. I'm in love with you.
Right.
The only way out of this is if I blow myself up.
So It's up to you. We can take the public transportation from here, but if you...
I can take you back to your
Well, actually, where we're going is like 4 blocks that way.
Oh, totally. I mean, I have no problem with that.
Cool. You're more than welcome to come see the movie with us as well. It's up to you, and then hang out afterwards. It's just that we kind of both, had this idea to go do this earlier today.
Oh, sure. Did you just invite me to go with you?
I did. I was inviting you earlier, but you said you don't really like superhero movies.
Oh, I didn't know you. Oh, I thought you. I'll go.
Cool. So you come out here and then go left and then make a right.
It doesn't have to be about the movie. I mean,
The thing that I like about the event also is that there's a lot of politics and drama, and like this crew, left and then right at the stop sign. This crew versus that crew, and like all this history and beef, and it seems like for the most part, a lot of that gets checked at the door, and what is there is saved for the dance floor. And because I'm non-denominational, I'm not in any type of crew. I just kind of do my own thing, and
Sort of like-
I walk amongst all the tribes, you know.
We can make a crew.
I got a community, you know. I got a collective, but it's not really
Why does everything-
that hostile, you know.
Yeah, we can be hostile as fuck.
Well, I mean, you already are hostile as fuck.
yeah, but-
I'm hostile as fuck in my personal life.
you assaulted my back and it felt better. That was pretty hostile.
On the dance floor, though, it could be disrespectful as hell.
Well, yeah, man, I caught jizz in my mouth and spit it at a fucking cripple.
I didn't get that until someone
So,
pointed it out. You spit at a cripple. That was mean.
That's pretty mean. But it's a joke, man.
It's a joke. I mean, if there's no
bad
There's
intent.
no
in
bad
it.
intention,
Not at
then
all, man. That
why
guy
does
is one of
anyone
my
need to-
fucking idols, man. He did me a huge favor. Like, that dude doesn't need to step into the ring with anybody. He's internationally known. He was performing at
He was
the
at a Clippers
fucking
game,
United
too.
States. He was performing at the United Center for the Bulls a week prior in my own city. You know, the place that I like love, and he's there at the fucking place where I've grown up going to games, and he's like on there dancing. Like, that dude doesn't have to do anything for anybody, but because of the cause and because of the history him and I have, then he felt a little more willing to do that thing. So.
I knew I'd recognize him from somewhere too. I've seen him. I know nothing about. My mind's still
stand this
blown
way.
that I met even though I'm not, a dancer really. I guess I'm kind of into it. I don't do it, but I like it. I got a chance to meet a legend.
Yeah, he's
Even if I didn't recognize him at first.
legendary. So.
I talked to him a little bit. He giggled every time he said something.
My goal is for this event to continue to grow, do one out of state a year and one in state a year, and the charities hopefully get more money, the battles become more notorious, they just get more notice and respect. We're opening up the event for the next one in Chicago. It's going to be 2-on-2 all styles and a 1-on-1 popping, which Chicago doesn't have a real consistent one-on-one popping competition, and my organization is going to really try to lock it down, which is going to be great to try to do because this scene is dominated by footwork. That's what Chicago is known most for. It's known for its housing, its jacking, its juking, and its b-boying, which all of those are
Tommy guns and bootlegging.
Tommy guns and bootlegging. So. Yeah, I feel very honored to have been, I had half of the idea, and then this gentleman came and gave me the finishing touches for it. His name is Garrick Morris. He goes by Poseidon. He's a house dancer in Detroit.
Poseidon.
He's an amazing, amazing spirit and human being.
Nice name too.
Yeah, definitely a good dance name. Somatic Souls. What's up?
Okay, cement truck. I'm going to pass you.
So yeah, I mean, overall it's great. I like sharing it with people. I like taking people's feedback and suggestions and criticisms and complaints and sifting through it and taking what's valid. And you're gonna want to be back in the left lane.
I didn't actually go into your lane. Why are you honking at me?
Just to let you know, so you don't. It's because you signaled and it looked like it.
Oh, yeah,
could
that's
happen. So you just think of it as a friendly honk. Think of it being like,
Nobody
hey.
thinks of friendly honks. When someone
Hey.
honks at you, you're like, what the
And
hell?
my friend was telling me in Jamaica, nobody actually honks in anger. People honk to say hello. Like, it's all like,
When I got
And they
my
do it percussively, too.
When I got my first car, it was a really old car. It was a 1989 Maxima. Every time I saw one else on the road, I'd honk and try and get their attention and wave at them. And half the time, they usually did the same thing right back. It's like, hey,
Nice.
same car. Awesome. Coincidence. Cool.
Awesome. Awesome.
What building? Is that the what's it called? The one that's
The Hancock.
Hancock. The one that looks like the mini Sears Tower.
It's the Hancock.
Hancock.
In my opinion, it's got a better view of the city than the Willis
Sears
Towers, formerly known as the Sears Towers.
It will always be the Sears Tower. Screw the Willis Tower.
Hey man, they'll come and find you if you're not using the name.
Yeah, let them.
That shit is trademark.
Sears Tower, Sears Tower, Sears Towers. Say it in the mirror 3 times fast with the lights off.
Yeah, but they'll come find you.
They'll pop up right behind you and
Cut your throat.
I'm guessing the view of I'm guessing there's not really a line to get up there.
What?
It
It depends on what time of year you go, what time of day, things like that.
Yeah, I've been on
But yeah,
the observation deck of the Sears Tower a million times, even though.
Yeah, there's definitely times where there's a line.
So, Sears Tower seems like it might be busy. Let's just go to the slightly shorter one. What do you get? What views, like, is there anything specific you can see up there that you really like?
Where, Willis or? You could see all of the north side, and you can see all of the south side, and then you can see the grid that is the west side.
Mm-hmm.
So in my opinion, whereas Willis Tower is like right smack dab in the middle of the city, so you have like a lot of skyscrapers that you're looking at, and that's kind of cool in itself. But I like to see the expansiveness and the vastness of Chicago, and you can do that up
It is a big city. I've never seen LA or New York, and every city I've seen since then, the first thing that comes to mind is that's considered a city. I mean,
LA's skyline is a fucking joke.
LA skyline.
It's a bitch ass joke.
Or is it just like, is there a skyline really?
Yeah, it's like there's some buildings and stuff.
I hope this place has a bathroom, actually. Oh, man.
It's guaranteed to have a bathroom.
I know. I know. I was just thinking out
So
loud.
I'm learning French. Cannot wait to start.
You know, the last movie I've actually seen in theaters was Click. Back in 2000. Click. Back in 2006.
Adam Sandler with the remote thing.
Yeah, and they portrayed it. They advertised it as, a comedy, and they didn't give
It's a drama, huh?
any inkling that it was like a serious drama, that there's a actual
Make her right here.
lesson to be learned here. And I was sitting there in the movie, there's funny parts. I was like, why didn't you prepare me for this? You didn't tell me this is what it was gonna be. Oh, hello.
Dicks.
You misled me. I wanted to laugh. Now I'm just thinking.
Well, just focus on the dick and fart jokes and you'll be fine.
Ha 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 ha. George Carlin got far without dick and fart jokes, and it was still funny.
Yeah.
You can take a topic as morbid as suicide and
I love his rant on suicide. It's so good.
and make people laugh with suicide.
Then you gotta write the note. Pen ran out of ink.
Boom, genius.
It's always something. Have you ever heard George Carlin's thing on suicide?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good.
I was watching it last night.
I've gone through a couple of periods of suicidal tendencies in my life,
I thought
and
about it.
every time I go to that dark place, I just listen to that stand up as many times as possible. And by the end of whatever I'm going through, I'm usually just cracking up. It may take a week or two of me listening to it, but
Comedy
it
is
starts to sink in.
comedy is
will be okay.
gorgeous.
I tell you, want me to go left here?
I want
Are you getting a little antsy? You're in the loop now driving. Take it, get it. You got it. Yeah, all right, now enter in there.
here.
Mm-hmm.
A little cubby hole.
Yep. Boom. Yeah. I took this girl on a date once, and we were walking around. She's super uptight, conservative kind of person,
You go to church?
No, she go to church, but she just she goes to work and she goes home. That's what she does. So she's not used to
work.
running around with a fucking crazy person. Although she met me when I was working at Riot Fest and I was
That's
dressed up like a
right.
clown, yeah. So I don't know who she thought I was, but so then once I found out she was kind of a little bit of a square,
No, very
I just made her climb up this fucking building with no car. Yeah, take it. Get the ticket. Mm-hmm. Boom.
That was quick and painless. I wish my arms were as long as yours. That would have been a little bit easier.
Totally easier. Long arms. They do
Freaking
things.
Gumby.
Yeah, but they make wearing t-shirts impossible. Nobody fucking makes a t-shirt for my lanky ass.
Learn to sew. That's something that would be interesting.
I know enough people who sew.
I know. You know what? Park. It gives me a choice. I think I want to go right.
Choose your own adventure, parking style. There you go.
Hello. Yeah. Cool. Come to be a tourist.
This concludes our interview.
Rest in peace, Tom, man. I'm extremely distraught I didn't know you as well as I could have. Godspeed.